Watching Times Now with me, Priya Behel. Now, it has been 2 days since Kerala story hit the theatres, clearing all the legal hurdles, multiple ones at that, not only at the Supreme Court more than once, but even at the High Court to finally secure a release in the theatres. However, the politics continues to haunt the movie, while states like Madhya Pradesh have decided to make it tax-free, saying that the film exposes the horrific face of love jihad, religious conversion and terrorism. There are those who continue to call for a ban of a movie that they call propaganda and exaggeration of false facts, like the theatre owners in Tamil Nadu, who a day after protest by political outfit NTK decided to stop the screening of the movie, and a Congress MLA in Jharkhand who has threatened that if theatres decide to release the movie, he is going to go and vandalize those theatres and register FIRs against the theatre owners. The BJP, however, has been continuously throwing its weight behind what it calls an expose on conspiracy by terrorist organizations like the IS to recruit innocent Indians. After Prime Minister's endorsement last week, today it is the BJP President JP Nadda who will be attending a special screening of the movie in Bangalore.
Yes, Kerala story. ये केवल एक फिल्म नहीं है, ये समाज में जो एक बहुत बड़ी चिंता खड़ी हुई है। कुछ लोग ऐसे जो अपने धर्म में बच्चियों को बहला फुसला कर ले जाना चाहते हैं और आतंकवाद के रास्ते पे लगाना चाहते हैं, उनका चेहरा बेनकाब करने का काम द केरला स्टोरी में हुआ है। लेकिन कुछ राजनीतिक दल ऐसे हैं, वो इस फिल्म का विरोध करते हैं। अगर वो इस फिल्म का विरोध करते हैं तो कहीं ना कहीं पीएफआई का समर्थन करते हैं, आतंकवाद का समर्थन करते हैं, आईएसआईएस का समर्थन करते हैं।
We also heard earlier in the day from Congress MLA Irfan Ansari. He was the one I was referring to, who in Jharkhand has been coming out to say that they will not allow the movie to be released in theatres. I would request if you could just, for our viewers, play out his reaction that came in earlier in the day.
हमें लगता है कि ये लोग सेंटिमेंट को टच करते हैं। मूवी बना दी है अभी, मुस्लिम हिंदू मुस्लिम हो गया, मुस्लिम हिंदू हो गया। क्या कर रहा है भाई? कौन डायरेक्टर है इसको? चलिए, जो मूवी है उसमें बैन लगना चाहिए। चलिए,
झारखंड में भी बैन लगना चाहिए। झारखंड में
यहाँ तो तोड़ फोड़ देंगे हम लोग।
क्या
ये नहीं चलेगा,
लगने नहीं दीजिएगा।
लगा के दिखाते ना, वो जो लगाएगा उस जो सिनेमा घर का मालिक पर केस होगा।
Joining me now on the broadcast is Sanju Verma of the BJP, Sandip Senan, film producer, Vivek Srivasatava, political analyst, and Nikhil Jain, who is also a political analyst. Nikhil Jain, coming to you first. Film release होगी तो तोड़ फोड़ देंगे? What do you have to say about that statement?
I don't agree with the statements of the Congress MLA. Yeah, of course. I think it's a condemnable statement, no matter whether this film is a piece of propaganda or not, which it is, which it clearly is. What the statement is, that is not the way the country should operate. That is not about the rule of law. But the more important question is, what is this movie? It is nothing but a propaganda piece being released 5 days before the Karnataka elections are to come into play. This is nothing but the typical BJP rule book of communalizing the people of the country by releasing such propaganda movies. It was the Kashmir files during the UP elections. It is the Kerala story during the Karnataka elections, and is nothing but a defamation of the state. How the producers went from 32,000 stories to 3 stories. And the BJP, the entire ecosystem of the BJP is just nothing but brand endorsement. This movie, Mr. Anurag Thakur is going around saying people that if you don't support this movie, you're supporting the PFI. Let me remind the minister that he's the same person who said ki goli maar do logo ko. That kind of people. ABVP's BJP's student wing is screening the movie at JNU. This is nothing but a propaganda piece being backed by the establishment and the Sangh Parivar. That is the more important question here, Mr.
Wait. Sanju Verma, I will come to you, but because he is levelling direct allegations at the filmmakers, Sandip Senan, my 2 questions to you. Did you time this movie to Karnataka elections, and B, are RSS people your producers?
See, actually, I think I beg to differ what who said just before me, because it is a realistic, story which happened, which is based on a real incident. So this happened way back in 2016 in Kerala. And this is a real thing that happened where not 3, but a few girls were systematically trapped by these outfits. So how can one say that this is a propaganda? This is what has to be narrated at this point of time, where every father and mother who has girls, who has kids, it is an eye-opener for them, because nobody wants their kids to be traitors. So how can this be a political agenda, a propaganda? I strongly oppose that, and probably the left liberal intellectuals at this part would say that this is a propaganda because they want their vote banks to be intact. So otherwise, this is a movie which has to be narrated, which needs to be narrated in India, in any part of India, because nobody wants their kids to be traitors.
Okay. Sanju Verma, it should be compulsory for everybody to know what the truth is, even though the scale might not be exactly what the movie makers are claiming it to be. Do you agree, or do you go with what the Congress is saying on this, that it is propaganda and political parties have no business backing movies?
Priya, I just want to make a couple of points very quickly. First and foremost, for anybody to say that this is a Sangh Parivar's propaganda, that is pure gibberish and a whole lot of hogwash, and I'll tell you why. Forget the RSS, forget the Bajrang Dal, forget the BJP, forget the Sangh Parivar. The 2-judge bench of the Kerala High Court, led by Justice Sophie Thomas and Justice Nagaresh, they categorically said that this is not a propaganda film. They said that actually this is not a film that trashes the entire Muslim community. It only talks about the ISIS. It talks about the worrisome trend of radicalization in Kerala, which is a harsh reality, and you can't shove it under the carpet. And not only the Kerala High Court, people went and petitioned the Madras High Court. The Madras High Court said exactly the same thing, that this is a must-watch film, as it raises some very important concerns with respect to jihad, radicalization, forceful conversion of Hindu and Christian women. So the panelist, Mr. Jain, who was sitting here and giving a bhashan on how this is a propaganda piece, I want to ask him very politely, is the Kerala High Court not seized of the right facts? Is Madras High Court not seized of the right facts? And let me tell you, when the petition went to Justice Chandrachud of the Supreme Court, no less, he refused to entertain the petition, saying that the Kerala High Court should look into the matter and has already done the needful. So basically, every big court in the country has dismissed petitioners who wanted a ban on this film, and I think that is the key story that tells you that this movie has raised pertinent questions. And I will just end by saying this. This movie talks about how a girl called Shalini Unni Krishnan turns into Fatima. But tell me honestly, Priya, we are well aware, a Shalini turns into a Fatima, a Surekha turns into Zubeda, Ragini turns into Salma, Sanju might probably, in some corner of the country, somebody might be wanting to convert her into Parveena. But have you ever heard that a Salma has turned into a Vandana? Or a Hadia has turned into Akhila?
No, but that is not even the point of contention over here. The movie is about recruitment of girls by some terrorist organizations, some instances, and there is a disclaimer, as you were quoting the Kerala High Court, that movie has a disclaimer saying it is just inspired by true events, but it is fiction. Then my question to you, Sanju Verma, is should people of the stature of the Prime Minister and the BJP President endorse a movie like that?
That's a very interesting question, and let me just tell you, since you've asked me this question, I am not somebody who will engage in pussyfooting and shove things under the carpet. दूध का दूध और पानी का पानी होना चाहिए आपकी debate पर. The Prime Minister has called out the bluff of the entire leftist cabal, the so-called academia within the left, which has consistently given intellectual cover fire to terrorists. And the Prime Minister has called out the bluff of the Congress party. In 20 seconds, I'll tell you this.
What do you mean by giving cover fire to terrorists?
Please, I did not heckle anybody. Let me finish.
No, it is not a question.
Let me finish. I did not heckle anybody.
Vivek Srivasatava, you will get your time.
No.
You will get your time. You'll be very patiently waiting for your turn. You will get your time.
What does this mean?
Please hold your horses.
We are serving the nation in a similar
No, we don't want to. listen to your bhashan. Priya, is this
No, you
fair?
better listen to my bhashan. Apart from
No. Everybody is going to be civil here. Everybody will get a chance to express their
Yes,
opinion.
let me
Mr.
finish.
Srivastava, I will come to you. 30 seconds,
Thank
Sanju
you.
Verma.
Thank you. Priya, we are all aware, and this is in the public domain, this is not a story that is being spun by Sanju Verma. On the eve of Lok Sabha elections at a rally, Rahul Gandhi calls Masood Azhar G. After the demise of Osama bin Laden of Al-Qaeda, Digvijay Singh calls Osama bin Laden as Osama G. Randeep Surjewala went to the extent of saying that the capital punishment to Yaqub Memon engaged in the 1993 blast is actually state-sponsored killing. You have the likes of Shashi Tharoor who says that Hindutva is equal to Hindu Taliban. No, but also the Prime Minister has called out the bluff, and rightfully so, of a Hindu-phobic Congress party.
No, but won't it
which
be
is
far-fetched to say
terrorist
that
and
anybody,
terror
like
apologists?
Anurag Thakur was saying, that anybody who is opposing this movie is actually speaking in favor of PFI and ISIS? The opposition
Of
is to
course.
exaggeration.
Now, tell me honestly, Priya, the Congress in the last 75 odd years has been in power for the longest at the center. Why is it that it took a Narendra Modi to ban the PFI in September 2022? Why could successive Congress regimes not do the needful?
Vivek Srivastava, you wanted to make your point. We've heard
Yeah,
Sanju Verma. Vivek Srivastava comes in.
Yeah. First of all, I mean, the present BJP regimes since 2014 and spokespersons of the BJP, like Sanju Verma, need to realize that opposition is an equal partner in the progress of the nation. In this country, when P.V. Narasimha Rao was the Prime Minister of the country, it was Atal Bihari Vajpayee who was sent to United Nations as a representative of the nation. She also needs to know, when Rajiv Gandhi was the Prime Minister, came to know that Atal Bihari Vajpayee is unwell and his kidneys are almost failing. He made the government sponsor the entire treatment abroad.
Sir.
And this is the respect the ruling party has been given to the opposition.
You are always
which
Sir,
adverse
but,
to this.
sir, but I think...
The debate is on the
Sir, you're confusing me. Sir, we are talking about Kerala story, about the fact that there is a Congress MLA who has said that if theatres do not stall the screening, he is going to vandalize the theatres.
No, we are against vandalizing of the theatre, and we stand for the freedom of expression, even if it is a nonsensical movie with a nonsensical agenda.
So are you saying that this movie should not be banned?
No. I'm being very clear. It's a nonsensical movie with a nonsensical agenda.
Okay.
If somebody has to speak against it, we will go to the court about it. Vandalizing is wrong. Vandalizing is wrong, violence is wrong, and we stand with the constitution of the country.
So you're okay with the movie being released, right?
No, see, the Prime Minister and the President of the ruling party have no business to be standing with movies which are divisive in nature, whether it is the Kashmir Files or it is the Kerala story, which is a fictitious account and Islamophobic and Muslims in a bad light.
So
political analyst, who the hell are you?
So the Kerala High Court, sir, has said that this movie doesn't show Islam in bad light, that it is not offensive. It is not the BJP that is saying so, it is the Kerala High Court.
No, well, the Kerala High Court and even the Madras High Court is very clear. They have not questioned Islam, they have not questioned Muslims. They are not saying that the majority Muslims or the majority Muslims...
So then how is it divisive?
...are actually trying to convert.
So how is it divisive? If the court is saying there's nothing wrong, if the Supreme Court has on multiple occasions and High Courts have also cleared it?
Stop playing the victim card.
No, see, I don't mind. You can make whatever movie you want to mind. When BBC came out with a movie which was against the Prime Minister, I talked the freedom of expression. I talk of freedom of expression today also. But what is unfortunate is the Prime Minister of the country is doing something which is Islamophobic. And he should not have endorsed this movie. He is my Prime Minister also.
But I don't understand. You're saying two things in the same vein. You are saying the movie is Islamophobic, but you're saying that yes, the High Court has said that it is not Islamophobic.
In this country, every anchor, every news channel, every filmmaker, every artist should be allowed to make and say whatever he or she wants to do. Number one. Number two, if something is fictitious, something is wrong. First it was declared 32,000 people, then it came down to 3 instances. That means there is some mischief in it.
But that mischief has been taken care of. They have corrected the figure, and now the court has also told them that you have to take down the trailer also, which they have agreed to do.
Yes.
What is the mischief now?
Because this was very dubious in nature.
Okay.
Filmmaker who's making a movie and
Sandeep Senan, your intentions are dubious.
Yes, the intentions are mischievous, dubious.
If they were not pointed out by the critics, you would have tried to get away with it.
Absolutely.
Sandip Senan.
Yes.
Yeah, I come from a state where it is the left rule, and there is a lot of freedom of expression in this part of the country. And when the BBC documentary was exhibited, it was the government-sponsored exhibition that happened at this part. So when the people talking about the freedom of speech, why can't they tolerate a movie like this, which happened, which was based on a real story, which is based on love jihad, which is based on narcotic jihad? So what is stopping these people from? So it is all because of their vote bank, and I think Kerala story is, the name itself is Kerala story because it happened in Kerala. But it is an example to every other. It is an eye-opener.
No, is it a national threat? Is this issue a national threat? 3 instances.
Yeah, it is a national threat.
It is a national threat. Prime Minister,
If you have a girl,
is it a national threat?
So there is an NIA charge sheet about 4 of these emails. Even one person from India going and joining the IS ranks is a national threat.
Of Hindu girls. Dowry deaths in this country of Hindu girls. When are you going to make a movie? When are you going to make a movie of the Hindu girls who are burnt alive?
सर अब वो मूवी जब आएगी तो उस पे भी कोई बैन लगाने के लिए बोलेगा, बट फिलहाल हम इस मूवी की बात कर लेते हैं. But Nikhil Jain, you've been listening to us very patiently. Make your point before I go ahead.
Pardon?
Nikhil Jain wanted to make a point.
So I have a couple of
points. I want to say that what happened in Tamil Nadu is
I have a couple of points I have to make. I don't understand why is Ms. Verma sitting here and
holds a monopoly of all the
I thought she's a spokesperson.
Mr. Seven, let Nikhil Jain make his point. I will come back to you.
I don't understand why is it. I'm sorry. No, Ms. Behr. Yeah. I'm audible.
Yes. Please, Nikhil Jain, go on.
Yeah. And first, I don't understand what is it with the BJP and its contempt against the academia, intellectuals and people who've gone to a good college, who've gotten a good degree. The Prime Minister, after all, is an MA in entire political science. I don't know. I don't understand what is the BJP's problem with people who are learned. Next thing is absolutely ridiculous points the BJP spokesperson is coming up with, that some politician from the Congress said Masood ji. Arey, what is the problem in courteous speech? I don't understand. The BJP wants everybody to be fighting and at their necks with dagger in their hand and whatnot, and most importantly, all of this, let these be the tertiary points. The most important point is that Ms. Verma was presenting as if the Kerala High Court and the Madras High Courts have given their endorsement to this movie, that this movie is the right truth and this and that. That's certainly not the case. That's certainly not the case. The Kerala High Court, I have the excerpt of the order with me right here. It is saying there is something called as freedom of speech, and they have the artistic freedom to balance that. The movie is fiction. There are no ghosts or vampires, but there are a large number of movies showing the same. That's it. The Kerala High Court is treating this movie as a work of fiction, while
but the movie makers are treating it as a work of fiction. The same verdict that you're reading from, if you just go a couple of tweets above, if you're following a thread, the court says that
BJP is treating
it comes with
how the BJP is treating it. No, I would not mind if the BJP would not treat it like a work of absolute reality.
Political stooge.
This is nothing but fiction. This is inspiration from true stories.
May I come in now?
And what happened to the 32,000 girls? I want to know. The producer of
Sanju Verma, it's a movie. Probably viewers would have seen the movie and would have made up their own minds. But once political heavyweights like the Prime Minister and the BJP President throw their weight behind a movie, then even fiction gets more weight than it would otherwise.
Priya, let me be very clear with you. Let's be very honest about the fact that the Prime Minister beat the BJP National President, Mr. JP Nadda, beat the INP Minister, Mr. Anurag Thakur. I think if they have called out the bluff of the rabid left, which today is electorally vanquished and is limited to only the state of Kerala, if the BJP has called out the bluff of the fact that the Congress is in bed with terrorists, I see no reason why people people should
No, I
get
don't
rattled.
understand why every
Let me finish.
opposition
I
party
did not open you.
what do you mean by
Priya,
this?
either you allow him to speak
No,
or
you
allow
are
me
not
to
supposed
speak.
to call the opposition parties.
Priya, can I please finish my
I have objections
point?
to this. You better talk
Okay, fine,
respectfully.
you continue.
No, we are in the opposition. That doesn't mean you start talking anything. आप logic में बात करिए ना.
You are not
speak
moderating the
logically.
debate.
Mr. Vivek Srivasatava and Ms. Sanju
I
Verma,
refuse to speak.
please don't make my life difficult, because if
No,
you both
nobody's
talk
making
over
your
each
life
other, I will
difficult.
not
You are
understand what
supposed to
either of you have said, and eventually I will end up in trouble.
Let me
We've
finish
seen too
my
many
point.
instances of that. Okay, Sanju Verma has made her point. Vivek
No, I did
Srivastava.
not finish. Let me
Okay,
complete
okay,
my
you
point,
finish
please.
your point in another 20 seconds, then Vivek
Okay.
Srivastava will come in.
Yes, no, 40 seconds because I was heckled. Let me make my point. I need that time. Let me be very
You are the
clear
answer
with you.
now.
Let me
You
be
are
very
the
clear.
answer.
Please, Mr. Srivastava, please.
No, you are deciding
Show
your own
some
time. So you are the
decency.
answer now.
Show some decency, Mr. Srivastava. Chup ho
I'm
jaiye,
talking very
please.
respectfully.
Oh, you are constantly heckling.
Okay,
Chup ho jaiye. Thank you.
Please don't make me
Can
feel
I
like a
finish?
class monitor. You guys are very responsible people speaking on a public platform.
Can I finish?
Sanju Verma, please.
Thank you. Mr. Srivastava, thank you.
Yes.
I fail to understand. Do you remember the horrific 26/11 Mumbai terror attack? I remember the then Congress Chief Minister of Maharashtra saying, छोटे-छोटे शहरों में ऐसी-ऐसी चीजें होती हैं, completely ignoring the fact that more than 160 people were brutally killed. And we have the ex-Indian Air Force Chief, Mr. Fali Homi Major, saying that the Air Force was willing to take action against Lashkar-e-Toiba, but Manmohan and Sonia Gandhi refused to take any action. So if the Prime Minister reminds the Congress of its unflattering history, I don't see any reason why people should have a problem. And here there was this Mr. Jain who was talking about entire political science. You are a paid political stooge on a
Okay,
TV
let's-
channel. अपनी औकात में
Let's no, Sanju Verma, that doesn't behove well of somebody of your stature to use language like that. You made your arguments, you made some very good arguments. Let's not get into name calling. Vivek Srivastava,
I did not interject. I'm making my point in a civil manner, but she
no,
wants to
everybody needs to make their points in a very civil manner. I have given enough time to everyone.
get personal.
Vivek Srivastava, make your point, then I'll come to you, Nikhil.
Like civility.
First of
Please,
all,
nobody's heckling anyone here.
in this, every party in this country, be it the Congress, be it the left, be it the regional parties who have been in power, there has been a third front government, they have contributed to this great, beautiful nation, and that needs to be recognized and respected. The opposition needs to respect the government, and the government needs to revert back. That is the culture.
Okay, but this respect, sir, whether it is for the government or for freedom of speech, has to be standardized. No, when it comes to BBC, the same leader said then that truth has a way of coming out, it cannot be banned, you should let people decide. Why can't people watch a Kerala story and decide for themselves?
Now, see, absolutely, I stand for the freedom of expression.
But Ramesh Chennithala doesn't.
Yeah, now let me just speak now. When the documentary, which was very much against the present Prime Minister, came out, I stood for the freedom of expression. I am saying Kerala story is a lousy movie. It is fictitious. It is mischievous.
telling you,
It is
BBC
dubious.
documentary is a
However,
lousy
I will not
documentary.
say
It's a bunch of vicious
that go
lies.
out of the hand and
BBC
vandalize
documentary
and
is a
break the
bunch of
theatres. Let the
vicious
people
lies.
see it. What is wrong is if the censor board has passed it, everybody needs to accept. I don't want a Karani Sena going and burning theatres. I don't stand for it. However, when the Honorable Prime Minister of this country, when the President of the BJP, it's a divisive movie, it could spread riots, it is showing the Muslims in a bad light, it is showing Islam in a bad light.
Left ruled Kerala.
Of this country are out and out to convert the Hindu girls, all fictitious, all nonsense. That should not have been endorsed by political heavyweights like the Prime Minister. The Prime Minister, on the contrary, should have come clean.
Vivek Srivastava.
The minorities of this country stand for this
The
nation.
highest number of ISIS recruits are from Kerala.
Okay. Sandip Senan, because the debate here is about artistic expression versus political connivance of sorts, because you are facing allegations that because there were elections on cards and because this issue deals with minorities and because there is polarization that the BJP wants to do in Karnataka elections, you've somehow become a party to that conspiracy. As the final word on the debate today, how can you convince our viewers that it is not so?
It is very much not, because this movie has been, as I said, this is not a true story, and this is basically a fictionalized version. And they have started they never started this movie, planning to release at the time of the Karnataka elections. I think nothing to do with the Kerala and Karnataka. It's a Kerala story and there is nothing to do with the Karnataka elections as of now. But every citizen has to watch. But as Mr. Jain said, it is not a dubious movie or this is not, that is his personal opinion. But in Kerala, there were agitations against the movie on the first day, and there were a lot of
your audience is not Kerala. Kerala is the
let me say,
across the country, sir.
In fact, I didn't interrupt when you talked. When you talked, I didn't interrupt. I think I expect the same.
Okay.
Kerala in a bad light.
I expect the same from you. I didn't interrupt. Let me say.
Now we already see the goalpost shifting from showing a minority community in bad light to showing Kerala in bad light. After some time it might become the opposition in bad light, but I think as responsible citizens and adults, we can all agree that anybody who goes to see a movie just goes there to see a movie. Nobody comes out thinking, oh my god, this is the gospel truth, especially as the court says. I must confess, I haven't seen the movie yet, that it carries a disclaimer that it is only based on true events but happens to be fictional. Thank you everyone and Sanju Verma for joining me on this broadcast. Taking a very quick break.